Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So I know it's been a while since Google's warehouse APIs have been leaked, and I also know that there are people who have been eagerly awaiting me to make videos about this. And my approach to making a video or these types of videos is to make it extremely simple so that not only someone who's advanced, but also someone who's a beginner understands what these warehouse APIs are. So when I go into my screen and I start showing you what we've learned about backlinks and internal links from the warehouse API, I'm not going to put in references to the API because if you're a technical person, you want to read the API, there's an entire site dedicated to that. Just search Google and you'll find it. It'll find all the APIs in their entirety. So that's not something I want to do here. But where needed, I have quoted the API and you will find it when I show you and I explain the context to you. Now, the important thing to bear in mind is here is that this is not, the warehouse API isn't complete. So we don't know 100% about how Google treats external links and internal links, but this video is about what we have found via the warehouse API. And also I've added some of my own experience so that this will help you build better links internally and externally, which is one of the keys to ranking, which is why I always stress that make sure that your links are built correctly. That's something you should never compromise on. So without further ado, let's jump into this. The most important part of this video is probably going to be the fact that there's only part of the warehouse API that has been leaked. So we don't have a complete picture of exactly how all of this ties together. But based on the information I have, and based on the API leak, and based on testing, when we put all of that together, we get a more holistic picture of how Google's algorithm works. Now, there are two types of links, and Google's algorithm doesn't really distinguish between internal links and external links. And so it treats both types of links similarly. The only difference is that Google marks links from external domains or external or websites or other websites as being external or from expired domains. So if it's from an expired domain, which I will go into it later in this video, it's marked as being a link from an expired domain. And I can explain to you exactly why Google might be doing this, but I don't know for sure if that's the reason. So that is where we need to be very careful of, is that many people are taking these leaks and they're saying, this is how Google's algorithm works. But really, that's not the case. These give us very good insight into how the algorithm may be working. So as I said here, so Google treats both link types the same. It's just that the internal links have been labeled as local in the API, and then you have links from expired domains. And really, in terms of the anchor text, in terms of the value they pass, in terms of the semantic relevance, as we'll go into, Google treats them the same. And you might ask, why does Google mark links from expired domains, and for how long are they marked? Now, I can't tell you exactly for how long they are marked because it's not in the API, but I can tell you the reason. And the reason for that is that expired domains have been abused forever. So it's very easy to buy an expired domain with a good link profile, put up a website, rebuild all the pages, and then use links from those pages to your website to rank. And SEOs have been doing that forever. I still do that, but with a slightly different strategy. I don't use the exact same strategy that everyone is using, because if you use the exact same strategy, you'll get the exact same results, which I don't want the exact same sort of results. I want better results. And so when you buy an expired domain, Google knows that the expired domain is no longer expired. When you set up the site, Google knows that you've set up a site. And I would say that for at least 6 months, Google would mark those links from expired domains as being from expired domains. And also, it may or may not pass link juice. So that's something to bear in mind, unless a few prerequisites have been put in place, which are not mentioned in this API. So I'll not go into, for the purpose of this API, it does not pass link juice. So the next thing is, what is Google looking at? So the first thing Google's looking at is high quality anchor text. So what Google defines as high quality is, I put it over here, it says source type records the quality of the anchor text source space. And so the anchor text, a descriptive anchor text, but it should also come from a quality page, and it also should come from a relevant page. Now, this is something we've known as SEOs for a really long time, but now, it's only now that we're looking at it in this documentation that it's confirmation that that is really the case. So there are 3 classifications for anchor text according to the API. You've got the high quality that comes from base documents, and when you hear the word base documents, you're thinking, well, this is from external websites. Not really the case. It's not mentioned in the API precisely, but if you're talking about internal links, this will be from the base documents within your site, which would be your power pages or your hub pages. So these will be, your 5,000 word high quality articles that are receiving the most clicks, that are receiving the most impressions. Those will be your base documents. When it comes to external links, your base documents will be your Wikipedias, your .gov sites, your .edu sites. Google doesn't have a list, does not provide us with a list in the API, but we can say that source pages are high quality documents, which are usually high domain authority, high trust authority, and you would have to then resort to, actually gauging the quality of those documents yourself. And then we have the medium quality, which comes from slightly related. So these are mainly pages that are linked from the high quality source. So if you have a website that gets a link from Wikipedia, that website is a medium quality website in terms of its link profile. And then if that links to another to another website, that website will be getting a medium quality link. So that's something to bear in mind. And low quality links are entirely different. So low quality links are mainly marked as spammy backlinks. These are links from unrelated sources, from unrelated websites, from PBNs, from that kind of thing. So those are low quality, and those pass the least amount of link juice. This is not mentioned in the API, but this is something I'm telling you. Next thing is the API says that it limits the amount of expired domains that you're getting links from. And so because expired domains have been abused extensively in the past, so if you have too many links from expired domains, and you have too many expired domains redirected to your site, you could be first algorithmically penalized, and then someone would review your site, or a manual review would be probably put in place. And then if it's found that you're abusing the system, then you could receive a manual penalty. Now, in all fairness, for the past year, I have not seen a manual penalty. So maybe it's more of an algorithmic penalty now, but it's something to keep in mind. It's also that once you have, in my experience, not in the API, if you have more than 24 links that come from expired domains, that Google marks as from expired domains, they stop passing any value or link juice. And so usually what I would do is I would set up 4 expired domains, and I'll set up 6 expired domains. And so there will be a cluster of 4 domains and a cluster of 6 domains. Those 6 domains are activated after 6 months, and the first 4 domains are activated initially to start sending link juice to the website. So kind of plan that out depending on what I'm dealing with. Also, this is really niche dependent, so don't take this as gospel. So how do you build better links? So the first thing is, if most of you would remember, I made a video on how to get niche edits from other websites. And the thing I emphasized was that you should get those links from related sources or from a related industry. And what do I mean by that? So let's say you were a dog trainer. So you search dog trainer and you just hit enter. Now, Google says that the first 100 results are the bucket. So anything that's the first 100 URLs, if you get a backlink from them, those are considered the bucket. So this is the bucket, the top 100 sites that are ranking. But that's not really the case. So essentially, it's not dog trainer, but it's actually dog training services that you offer. And so what you should be searching for is your industry level keyword. So businesses that are ranking for the industry level keyword, the top 100 ones, are where you can get links from. So instead of dog trainer, you can also do pet trainer. And then again, these are industry level sites. So if they're ranking for pet trainers, you can get a link from them. And those links will be considered quality links and relevant links. So that's the bucket that Google is really defining. Also, again, you shouldn't get, so if you maybe like have a, you strike a deal with, these guys over here and you get like 10 links from them, it's of no value. The first 4 links are probably going to pass the most value. After the 4th link, you shouldn't get more links from the same domain. It just doesn't work that way. So you're not going to pass. And also, in my experience, if let's say the link juice passed from the first link is 100, the link juice passed from the second link from the same domain is going to be 50, and the link juice passed from the third link from the same domain is going to be 10. And so it just goes down exponentially. So not really the case. So the API doesn't define that, but this is my own experience. The next thing is, and this is probably, I would say, the most important part of your internal and external link building, is topicality and anchor text. So the API states set I page rank rate is equal to all new pages get temporary page rank. So what this means is Google, by default, is assigning a page rank to all new pages. And I would also argue it's also to all new websites. So there are 2 things that I didn't know over here that are important to mention. The first is, if you have a nofollow, and let's say you have 10 links on your page, and they're all nofollow, but then you add a follow link. Then Google looks at all links as follow. So all 11 links, the 10 nofollow and the 1 follow link, become all follow links. So that 1 follow that you add triggers all of those nofollow links to become follow links. Also, what's considered a follow link by Google is when you don't add any attributes to it. So you don't add a rel sponsor, you don't add a nofollow, you don't add anything. You just put in a anchor text. By default, Google sees that as being a follow link. So if you're trying to preserve PageRank and you're trying to preserve link juice, make sure that you add the right attributes. So I didn't know that by default Google just turns on the follow for all links if you have a follow on your page, and this is also true for internal links to your page. And so usually I would say 99.9% of the times, if you're putting in an internal link on your website from one page to the other, it should always be a follow link. Do not do no follow links within your site. I see this many times, and I tell clients, do not ever do no follow links within your own website. If you're ranking to another website, that makes sense. But now, if you want to preserve link juice and you're ranking to other websites, make sure that you absolutely have 0 follow links to an external site, even if your own site, on that page, because then all of those no follow links will be nullified. Then there's topicality rate. So this is the measure of relevance. It looks at it in terms of how much a page weighs in terms of its relevance. So it's low relevance, it's medium relevance, and it's high relevance. So it assigns an unknown numerical value. Google, the API, does not reveal what that value is, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll say there are 3 values. There's low, medium, and high. That's the topicality rate. And the way Google does this, and it's our assumption, it uses its own NLP algorithm to try and ascertain exactly what the topical weight is. You can use a tool like Surfer SEO, that they kind of pull in a lot of NLP keywords. You can also use InLinks, which is another tool. And you can also build your own tool, like the one we use in-house, that uses Python and Google's own NLP API to pull in and analyze text and categorize text in terms of the NLP association and the topicality. And there's a whole topic modeling thing that it's a lot more complex in this, but topic modeling is probably one of the things you might want to look at when you're starting a new website. And that's where we build those topical models when we are building our topical maps. It's now a lot more complex than it was, because it's no more just about keywords, but it's more about topicality. And I'll go into this whole thing in another video. The next thing is you have link attributes. So apart from all the other link attributes, you have additional info. So this additional info attribute is for mainly news. And so it stands to reason if your website starts to trend, the news-related links tend to be a lot more effective in helping you rank. And I've tested this out, and what I found is if you do too many press releases, it's not going to be effective. If you do one press release and you make it like really good, Google kind of sees that something is going viral on your site, and it kind of promotes that. It helps you rank really fast. But the effects are short-lived. So if you're going to use this, just bear in mind that Google then labels these links as news links, and the effect they have is short-lived. Short-lived thing is kind of my own experience, but it's not in the API. But as a whole, what the API does state that news-related or additional info-related links are treated differently as compared to regular links. So then you have the homepage link abuse. So homepage link abuse has always been a problem, especially with PBNs, because what PBNs do is they put all the links that people are buying on their homepage. So all the articles that are written, just land up on the homepage, and they'll link from the homepage to the client site. And so that's traditionally how PBNs have always worked. And so in order to prevent that from happening, Google now just doesn't look at the link, doesn't look at the anchor text, it's also looking at nearby text on the homepage. So if you for instance add fishing rods, and before fishing rods there are 5 words about car rental, and there are 6 words after fishing rods about the taste of water, then that's not going to work for you. And the Google wants more context for that link. So whenever you're adding an anchor text on your homepage specifically, make sure that you understand the context of the content on that homepage. And what I would personally advise is do not spam your pages with click here, buy now, more info, all of that stuff. It shouldn't be. Those are low quality anchor texts. So you should use descriptive anchor texts that describe what people will find on the page that they're going to, if it's an internal link. So make sure that that's in place, because now we know that Google is identifying these links specifically on the homepage. The next thing is sort of like a gray area. We have no idea what this is, so we don't know what NSR is. But Google assigns a value between 0.1 thousand and between its original value, which is 0.010, which is multiplied by 100, rounded up by an integer. Really, I have no idea what this is. I spoke to a few people, and what we've been able to ascertain is that this is really a comparison. And I keep saying and keep telling people ask me, people keep asking me, like, why do you say that Google is a comparison engine, or use a comparison algorithm? Well, because your website is measured against other websites. And what we've been able to decipher from this API, which is incomplete, is that it assigns all sites a value, and it's an internal value, and it's a value based in comparison to other sites. So it may be your website gets a 0.10, there's another website that gets a 0.90, and their website ranks higher than yours, or your website ranks higher than them. So if your website improves in some instances, then you will outdo them. So this is the internal algorithm that's awarding these attributes or these values. And we think, personally, not by the API, that these are based on clicks, engagement, and performance. So the more clicks, the more engagement you have, the better your website performs, and the higher this value is that are assigned to your site compared to other sites. And I think there's a finite amount of this value. The higher the amount that you have from this finite resource, the higher you rank. Now, again, this is an unknown. We have no idea what this is. But as with all things Google, you have to figure things out. So what I would recommend people do is do a lot of testing. So right now what I'm doing is I'm testing internal linking. So I'm building a whole bunch of pages with a whole different type of internal links. And I'm actually working on 4 different websites to test this, to figure out exactly what kind of anchor text and what kind of relevance Google is looking at. And I think this is probably the most important part of testing this. And then I'm going to do the same test on external sites, and I have a bunch of PBNs that I'm working on. which I'm going to test this on to see exactly what's going on with this. And then if I have more information, I'll make another video. But I hope you guys found this video useful. As always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, I hope you guys liked the video. As always, like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.